Leadership legacy. First meeting. My first meeting was as a defensive coordinator in the NFL. Lesson 3. From college football to the NFL. Last time I coached in the college ranks, you played 11 or 12 regular season games and possibly a bowl game if invited. The regular season was over somewhere between Thanksgiving and the first week of December. You were allowed 2 weeks of preseason practice before you're opening your regular season game. After 13 years of coaching in college, I got my opportunity to coach in the NFL. It was 1992, and I was fortunate to join the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. Jimmy Johnson was the head coach, and Dave Wannstedt was the defensive coordinator. Dave took me under his wing and showed me the ropes as far as making the transition from the college game to the pro game. At that time, we had 2 weeks of training camp practice and then started our 5 preseason game schedule. Our first preseason game was the American Bowl, as it was called back then, and it was in Tokyo, Japan. We spent the week in Tokyo practicing against what was then the Houston Oilers. Following that game, we played 4 more games. The training camp practice had no restrictions regarding contact, whether you're wearing pads, not wearing pads, how many practices you could have per day. Very different than today's game of the CBA. Bottom line, before we ever played a regular season game, we already went through equivalent of half of a college season. During this time, most teams left their normal team facility and went to a different location for training camp. So not only did you endure long 16-hour days coaching, but you were 7 weeks away from home and your family. We then began the 16-game regular season and its grueling coaching hours. Before we had even reached the halfway point in the regular season, it was the equivalent of a full college season. Talk about going from a sprint to a marathon. Wow! I'd already hit a wall at the end of training camp, and now was about to hit the wall again with 8 games left in the regular season. We finished the regular season, winning our division and earning a bye for the first week of the playoffs. Coaches, you didn't get time off. We started our grind through the game tape of potential opponents. We had a fabulous team and went on to win our 3 playoff games and become world champions. All in all, we had played 24 total games, including the preseason. Basically, 2 college football seasons with no break. So my first years as a professional coach would not only be gratifying becoming champions, but I must admit, my first memories are how long, exhausting, grueling that first year as a professional was. Another surprise to me as I reflect back on that first year was how I could have been so far off in my impression of our team. It was difficult to see how great that team was because it was hard for anyone to stand out. In college, the range of talent is so much greater that good players easily stand out. When you had half a dozen standout players in college, you assumed you were going to have a really good team. I look back in awe of the talent Jimmy Johnson accumulated for that Dallas Cowboy franchise.